Good evening and welcome to the Velocity of Now with me, your host Thomas Sheridan. My website is www.thomassheridanarts.com and the programs are archived, the video versions of the programs are archived at newsymbolsmedia.tv and also on my YouTube channel, Thomas Sheridan Arts. It's the 29th of April 2015. Ooh, and the show ends. It's Walpurgis night after my book, which you can get my excellent book, Walpurgis Night, which everybody tells me is a super read, at thomassheridanarts.com. There's a little tab up in the corner that says bookshop, and if you'd like to get that book and read it, and my books, they're there for you to read. Yes, Walpurgis Night, the Witches' Sabbath. Well, really the Witches' Sabbath in the Christian sense, and speaking of a Witches' Sabbath, we're going to be talking about democracy tonight. Black Witches' Sabbath, really, that's what Election Day is. I was just looking there, my friend Stephen is an Irish guy, he's a Facebook friend and lives over there in England. He's going to see Derek Acora, the clairvoyant, whatever the cold reader, whatever the guy is, calls himself, from UK TV tomorrow night on Walpurgis Night as well. I wish I was going to that. I find it hard to dislike Derek Acora. I know it's all bollocks really, for the most part. Maybe some of it isn't, but I just find him hard to dislike. I don't know whether it's his thick Liverpudlian accent or the fact that he reminds me of a time when we had entertainers on TV and not presenters. So he's very hard for me to dislike, even though he's probably making it up through his backside. I just find, I mean, Walpurgis Night and the night that Hitler vanished and Derek Acora, that would be legend to get him to try and contact Hitler. Adolf, are you there? Come on back, Adolf. Yeah, that'd be a bit of a laugh. Calm down now, Stalin. Calm down. You'll have us all in the bleeding Nazi. But yeah. So yeah, tonight is the cusp of Walpurgis, a very interesting historical date. There's a on my. Well, it's see on newsymbolsmedia.tv, but on my blog, I have a list of all the weird things that happen on Walpurgis on the Witches' Sabbath, and it is no coincidence, including Derek Acora. I should add him to that. I just got back from Manchester, where I spoke at the National Health Federation's 60th anniversary bash in the Quaker Rooms in central Manchester. It was a lovely event. I met some really nice people. Sadly, it wasn't recorded, but I had a good time there. They're a great bunch of people that run that event, and we should all support them in what they do, because they really are the last buffer, the last really well-organised buffer that can actually do things between pharmaceutical companies and a kind of a transhumanist, non-organic future, non-holistic self-healing future, mainly because Scott Tips is on the Codex committee and he's able to get in there and at least try to disrupt some of the efforts to, keep us all on chemicals and nothing else, and to kill, to wipe vitamins out and all that kind of thing. So that was nice. If you want to that. Also, don't forget the Alternative View conference. I got chastised by Ian today for not. Well, I didn't get chastised, but he asked me to remind people. It's the Alternative View 6. It's at the Staverton Park Hotel, a very, very nice hotel. I was big in that last year. In Daventry in Northants, which is sort of like I don't know, it's near kind of Milton Keynes, that kind of part of England. Very beautiful countryside and a very nice hotel, and a great lineup of speakers, including yours truly. And also on the Monday, I'll be giving a tarot. Monday morning before I go back to Ireland, I'll be giving a tarot course. So you can come to that as well if you like a tarot workshop, which I haven't done in a while. So it's all well worth coming, and you get to say you had breakfast with me. Just think of that. You had breakfast with me, where you can listen to my witty my witty banter in the morning, and then you can have lunch with me, and then you can have dinner with me if you want. And so you get to hang out with me, I get to hang out with you, stay in a lovely hotel that has all the facilities you need there, plus listen to interesting speakers and have a very nice time. What more would you want? So if you go to alternativeview.co.uk, you can register there. Now, some people say it's expensive. It's not. Let me tell you, it's not expensive. For starters, it's worth it just for the hotel price alone and the food. If you were to go to a B&B in Ireland, anywhere, you'd spend the same amount for a weekend away just in a hotel without the food. And here you're getting the food, the hotel, all the meals and all the talks, and you get to have breakfast with me. You can see my bloodshot eyes hanging over two sausages after I've had a hangover. No, I'm just joking. I don't do those kinds of things. So while I was in Manchester as well on the weekend, I did some work. Well, I'm always working. I hate the idea of not being productive and not doing something. I even work in my sleep. I get ideas for paintings and horror stories if I have bad nightmares. But while I was in Manchester, on a serious note, I've been very interested in what I believe is a serial killer there. There's a serial killer, I believe, stalking the canals of the city, the vast complex of canals, killing people and throwing them in. Now, he's supposed to be the cops just say they're falling in and drowning. The canals are incredibly shallow. They're only a couple of feet deep. Canal barges are really shallow, and you'd have to, even if you fell in winter, you couldn't die of hypothermia realistically, because all you have to do is scream and shout and someone will hear you. We're talking about the centre of a big city. Someone will come to your rescue. So there's something very sinister going on in Manchester. It seems to be mostly gay men or guys who are perceived to be gay who are being targeted by the killer. So serial killers are back. They're not hyping them up as much as they used to, but the reason why the police don't want to hype up the serial killer in Manchester is because they're very difficult to catch. And police, the worst nightmare for a police department is a serial killer in the jurisdiction, not because of the serial killer killing people, because they're so difficult to catch, and the serial killer will play a cat and mouse game with the police. But also, as the body count rises, the serial killer will become a kind of a mystique character in the community, like Jack the Ripper or the Night Stalker or Son of Sam. At the same time, the police look incredibly incompetent as the body count rises, and the media generally savaged him. But I've made a film about it. I went to visit some of the spots where the bodies have been found, and one of them was nearly a big mistake, because I was followed by this guy wearing a hoodie, and it was kind of, I'm sure he wasn't trying to attack me, but it scared the bisto out of me. And that's actually on the video. And if you go to my YouTube channel, Thomas Sheridan Arts, you'll see a short film I made called Blind Spot, a serial killer in Manchester. And it's some footage I took on the weekend, very early in the morning or late at night, in and around the gay district. And I think the police in Manchester really need to get serious about this. But more importantly too, people themselves in Manchester, they need to practice a lot more personal, unlike me. But I wasn't late at night. I really wasn't expecting anyone to appear at that, at 6 o'clock in the morning, but under a canal bridge. But there you go. They should really practice, safety, and not go home alone by the canal towpaths at night. And certainly not if they pick up a guy picks them up in a gay bar. Don't go home. It could be even a woman, who knows? But it's. I think the profile would suggest to me it's a male with sexual self-loathing. I would suggest that they don't walk home with them, because their drinks may well be spiked. They might feel weak, and then it will happen. So please be careful if you live in Manchester, and please take care walking along the canals at night. So check out Thomas Sheridan Arts on YouTube and see that film I made called Blind Spot, a serial killer in Manchester. I want to make more short films like that have that kind of investigative journalism punch to them, that get the point home. There's also another video I've uploaded this week, which is another one that will scare the bejesus out of you, but for different reasons. DARPA in America have developed, wait for it, a drone bullet. Yes, a bullet that is self-steering. And I have the demonstration footage on my YouTube channel, and you see an expert sniper trying to hit a moving target, and then a person who's never fired a sniper's rifle before with a self-steering drone bullet, and the bullet literally changes direction in mid-air to hit the target in mid-flight. So that's where we're heading. We're heading, and when I see things like that, I'm glad I'm not born now, because what will it be like in 20 years' time? But that's the kind of world the transhumanists are bringing us into. There's, the people who say, oh, well, that's just to protect us from terrorists. No, our governments are the terrorists, and them bullets are for us. They're for anyone. You know what's happening in Baltimore at the moment. They love things like that because the more there's riots in Baltimore, the more they can implement their police state, the more they can crack down and eventually use their self-steering drone bullets. And police are getting thicker, stupider, but they're also getting heavily armed. They're getting the more stupid and inhuman the police come, the more weapons they get. Do you ever notice that? The more guns and machine guns and other kind of weapons they get. Like, cops are not as sort of like engaging with the community as they used to be. They're definitely not. They're not crime solvers anymore. What they are is just thugs for the corporate state. And as their stupidity and as they lower the standards and even things like lower the height restrictions and weight restrictions to get into the police, they're giving them machine guns, they're giving them armoured cars, and they'll eventually give them self-steering drone bullets. So it's a frightening future in many ways, and people will say, oh, we're all waking up, humanity is at the crossroads. Well, you are talking through your brown eye, through your chocolate starfish. You really, really are. Humanity is not waking up, and anyone I don't know how anyone who's in this kind of like alternative scene, one of these speakers, can stand on a stage and say a great awakening is about to happen. It's not. It's not. And one of the reasons that people don't go to events, like, don't go to many events anymore, or don't, partake in this scene, is because they were waiting for the previous generation of bullshitters to tell them, a big change is coming, we're all waking up, and it never happened. And they went back to watching TV. There is no event coming. There is no great awakening coming. The aliens are not coming. Nothing is happening except one thing. Only your ass can save your own backside. Nothing and nobody else. Not, some chain-smoking, nicotine-encrusted windbag talking to itself in the future on a Ouija board is not going to save your ass. You're robbing yourself of your own potential if you're listening to someone like that. You're robbing yourself of your own potential if you think aliens are coming. You're robbing yourself of your own potential if you think, the 100th monkey is coming, because that's what's happening. You're sitting back and you think it's going to happen just by watching YouTube videos and, going to, reading books and, sharing. It's not going to happen, okay? Get that into your head. Only you can save yourself. Yes, the world is run by absolute bastards, but like I said a few weeks ago, there's no reason for them to take the song from your heart or the colour from your eyes. No reason at all. Knowing that is freedom. Knowing that is liberation, because you don't have to waste your time on it anymore. You learn skills, you learn how to be independent, and you enjoy life knowing, much more importantly, that you and you alone are in charge of your own destiny. That's the truth of it. You are in charge of your own destiny. Yeah, I know it's sometimes, you listen to like people like Alex Jones going, we're living on a prison planet, incoming chemtrail bombers, it's coming, martial law, buy my videos, and all this kind of crap. That's all sensationalism to keep you, buying his videos and all that crap. And it also makes you feel powerless and helpless. It makes you feel powerless and helpless. Yeah, America under siege. FEMA camps in the opening. They're coming to get you. Oh God. Anyway. When I record this, I should put the sound of a siren in the background. Woo! Woo! Now, better would be to have a dog going. Anyway. Speaking of self-autonomy and self-independence, while I was in England, I was in a hotel room and I did something absolutely filthy. I did something really depraved, and because I was in a hotel room, I could do anything I wanted. In a city full of debauchery, I went to the max. I partook in the ultimate depravity. I watched BBC News. And then when I was feeling really dirty and filthy and skanky, I switched over to Fox News. I felt like an animal. And then when I got I said, let's take it to the next level. Let's get really, really feckin' depraved here. I had that thing in my hand, yeah, and I squeezed real hard on it, and I switched over to Sky News, and I watched what was nothing other on all the British channels, not just those ones. When you don't have a TV and you don't watch it, and then when you do go back to watch TV, it's like being a visitor to an alien planet. It really, really is. It's like being a visitor to an alien planet. And what all these channels were doing were advertising for the political system. That's all. That's all they were doing. They served no other function. It doesn't matter if they were a commercial channel or the BBC, a public channel. It didn't matter if they were a British channel, an American channel, a Russian channel, an Iranian channel. You name it, it did not matter. The entire function of the media was to be an enabler for the democratic, psychopathic, political system. That's what it was all about. What I saw was stories that were literally editorials on behalf of politicians in the guise of news, everything. And the whole purpose of these reports was to make you believe that nobody, see, Britain is having a general election soon, to make you believe that you cannot exist or do anything in your life without a politician endorsing it. Literally, that's what it was like. You cannot wipe your own backside without having a politician do it for you. They have so successfully gaslighted the population that they believe that they cannot do anything without some kind of political help. I'll give you an example. They had these kind of vox pop things on the BBC, with in between all the condescending, patronising smiles and commentary on the show. They had all this nonsense, and they go, they had some tart, some whore sitting there with her peroxide haircut and her cocksucker's lips. Oh, AMF, like that. And she's going, well, with the election coming up, what are we going to do? How does the government stand on the arts? How does the government stand? I can do it. Do you hear my BBC accent? Hello, I'm Chester from the BBC. I went to Cambridge Christ College. Yes, I now work for the BBC. I have this voice, this particular BBC voice, because I had the chairman of the Conservative Party penis in my mouth when I was 10. And that's why I talk like this. Yes. Anyway, I'm not going to be on the air for much longer, you can tell, can't you? Anyway, so, so she goes, with the election coming up, we now have to go and see how it is the government, or whatever party is going to be in government. Like we have a feckin' choice, or you have a feckin' choice. Whatever party is going to be in government will do for the arts. Will do for the arts. And then the camera goes to a guy who's a George Formby impersonator dressed in a World War II outfit. Oh, Mrs. Browning at the town and then the cleaning windows, that kind of thing, right? Whatever. I kind of like some of George Formby's music. He was actually a genius in his own way. But a George Formby impersonator is hardly representative of the arts. And so they're asking this guy, who's definitely been, recruited from the local Conservative Party or the local Labour Party or Lib Dem, whatever, to be on the telly, and he goes, we don't have the arts, we lose everything, and I do hope this government does everything to keep the arts alive. Now think about that. This, I'm struggling here to maintain decorum. This gentleman says that we need the government to keep the arts alive, right? So this is now gaslight. This is you being gaslighted, right? Like, you cannot pick up a pencil and a piece of paper and do a sketch unless you have government support. You understand? They control the arts now. They control all creativity. Your life is completely dependent upon the government endorsing your creativity. And this is how they are about everything. You can't do nothing without them, because this is how Democrapathology works. Liar or bullshitter A or liar or bullshitter B in the two-party Tweedledum Tweedledee system has to justify his own existence by making you believe, or her existence, by making you believe that you cannot survive in any aspect of your life, from making an omelette to creating a symphony, or shaving under your arms, or watching a flower grow, or watching watching a bull and a cow riding in a field and laughing at the size of the bull's langer. You cannot do the joy of young boys finding white dog shite, all the things that are worth living for, cannot happen unless the government makes it happen. And you see, when you don't have a TV and you do what I did in that hotel room, you realise just how gaslighted and mind controlled the world is, to believe nothing can be done without a politician's or a government's endorsement. What's the government going to do for me? What's the government going to do to me? Well, if that's how you think, if that's how you live your life, I need the government to do this, I need the government to do that. The government, will I vote for you? Hello, I'm here looking for your vote. I'm here on behalf of the patronising gobshites party, and we're running for election in your constituency. Yeah, hold on a second. I just had to clear out some of Boris Johnson then. Now, we're running for election in your constituency, and we care passionately about your policies. What are you interested in? Well, I like to sit on the toilet and I like to pick my nose, and when I get a really big fucking bogey and I pull it out, I like to roll it and then flick it. What is the government going to do for me to make that easier? Well, we have, just so happens we have a bogey flicking initiative, and if you vote for us, the condescending bollocks party, the condescending barking bollocks party, we will implement a program whereby you can roll the biggest bogey and flick it, and not only that, we will pay for someone to come round your house and help you do it. I'm going to vote for you. I'm going to vote for you. That's how it works. That's how it works. That's why democracy is the greatest system ever invented for psychopaths. Ever. Tell me what you want. Tell me what you want, and vote for me, and I'll deliver it. And, well, I'll say I'll deliver it. That was a rough night in the House of Commons last night. Yes, vote for me. Vote for me, and I will deliver these policies. And when I get into government, I will ignore them. Yes. I will do everything in my power to pretend and act like I never made those promises, like I never told you I would do these things for you. And then you the electorate, you the mindless knobheads, will complain. They never did this for me. They never did it. They'll never vote for those bastards again. Oh, but you will. You will vote again. You'll come back every 4 years, like an addict. You will. It doesn't matter what. It doesn't matter if I talk like this or any other accent in any other country, in any other language, where democracy holds sway. You will come back every 4 years. Every 4 years. And you will complain. You will say the same things. You will say, I won't vote for any of these tossbags because they're all liars. They're all liars. But you know what? You will vote because you're a stupid bastard and you think this is normal. No matter what country you live in, we have you well trained. We have you well trained. I was looking at and they play on your mind now. Here in Ireland, this is what they do to us, is to go, sure, no, you have to vote, you have to vote because, my name is Larry. Larry, when I get elected to be Taoiseach, that's the Prime Minister here, you'd still call me Larry, even though I'm a career criminal psychopath. Jesus, I'm a career criminal psychopath. I rob you feckin' blind. I'll bankrupt the country, but you'll still call me Larry. You'll still, Jesus, we love Larry. Larry's a great man. He's about as ethical. He's about as ethical as Jack the Ripper. But you'll still call me Larry. You'll still call me Larry, because you're so feckin' well trained. And when I rob you of your bleeding rights, and I rob you of all your feckin' rights, right? You'll be walking down the street, carrying a marching going with a big sign saying Larry out, Larry out, not prick out, not shithead out, not knobhead out, but Larry out. Because you think because I tell you to call me, I get all my marketing and spin people to make you, through my bitches and whores in the media, I get you to call me by my first bleeding name. And you know what? That makes you think that you and me are mates. When I would actually drive a fucking tank over, oh Jesus, of course, forgive me. I thought I was Brian Cowan in the Dogback. When I drive a bleeding tank over you and sell your children into slavery, you'll still be calling me Larry, won't you? You'll still be calling me feckin' Larry. And in America, they'll be voting for Hillary. I'm voting for Hillary Clinton because she's a lady. She's a woman. She has a vagina. And we badly need a vagina in the White House. Yes, we got a black man in the White House, and well, we need a vagina in the White House. And the next time after that, we will have a Chinese transsexual alien in the White House. And then we will have diversity and equality. So we have to have a vagina. I don't care if she squirted on Diane Sawyer after hearing about Muammar Gaddafi being anally raped with a bayonet before having his throat cut. I don't care. She's a woman and she represents diversity. Diversity is everything. And the beat goes on, and every 4 years you fall for this shite. Every 4 years. And then you and the tough woman, you all say, it's a two-party system, it's all rigged, they're all the same. Until Russell Brand came along. Oh, Jesus Christ, when Russell came along, that changed everything. On gossamer wings, he floated into the Newsnight studio, and you sat there with the drool coming out inside your mouth as he said words like socialism and bankers and elite. And you drool, Russ, he's gonna save us. And then when I came out the next day and said, he's full of shit. He's full of shit. I just looked into him. I thought a few weeks ago maybe the man was having a sincere political awakening, but I looked into it. He's so stitched up with the bankers you would not believe it. And secondly, all he's doing is spouting new Labour policy. Thomas Sheridan, he's jealous of Russ because Russ has a big knob and he's got a big willy and he's famous and I'm going to obey, and I'm going to vote for him because he's saying something new. Yeah, like saying something new, like Labour Party policy from the 1970s. That's what he's saying new. But you didn't listen. You didn't. He's and so, I hate to be a tossbag. I hate to be a twat about it. I hate to be a twat about it. But if I was a smug, self-satisfied knobhead, which I'm not, because I couldn't give a shit what you said about me, of course, again, FCC. Here, have a pubic hair. FCC. That's how much I care about you. Ed Miliband spotted leaving Russell Brand's London home. I said it, that all Russell Brand was, all he represents was to take the people. I have his photo. I have his photograph up here now. There's two eyes. Oh, I'm mesmerised by Russell's eyes. Oh. Even though he looks like a junkie. Oh. Anyway, I have to move his picture on the screen. It's making me sick. Anyway, yeah, speculation that the comedian had previously urged his fans not to vote, may be considering endorsing Labour leader in the UK general election, exactly as I called it. I didn't use a crystal ball. I didn't hear demons in a hotel room telling me to believe this. I simply listened to what he was saying, who he was good like to do, and I said, he's a Fabian socialist, and that's all this is, to take the people who are waking up and to steer them back into the left-wing parties in the UK. Now, it actually panned out even faster than I expected, because I thought they were going to create this purple pill party, which would be kind of a new lefty party, but that's probably too much work. The psychopaths in charge, that's still too much work for them. So they got our Russ to follow the Pied Piper. Russ is our man, let's follow Russell, we are awake, we're not gullible, ooh, let's follow Russell, right into the Labour Party. That's what's happened. That's what's happened. It's happened for two reasons. The first one is you're a douchebag. The second reason is they've been working on you for thousands of years to make you a douchebag. But only people who have never been tried to wake up or been switched on can use the douchebag opt-out clause. The rest of you who spent years watching Vigilant Citizen saying, celebrities are all, they can't trust them, Hollywood Babylon, but I love Russell Brand, I've just, you've no excuse. You just admit that you're an idiot. I'll respect you and love you if you admit you're an idiot. That's okay. Admitting you were wrong is how you learn things. Admitting you're wrong is how you made mistakes. But what you did was, any chance there would have been, as remote and minute as it would have been, of a great awakening, all you people who claim to be switched on, woken up, awake, whatever, you destroyed it when you ran after Russell Brand. Because you gave away everything that had been worked for that point, and you gave it back to the Labour Party in the UK. And even when he was in the New Statesman, you refused to believe it. Even when it was pointed out that his girlfriend was Jemina Khan of the massive Goldsmith banking dynasty, who are like literally, they're just as bad as the Rothschilds. In fact, they're obsessed with interbreeding in them. You still didn't believe me. When I went on to Red Ice and gave 2-hour interview breaking down everything, the history of Fabian socialism, how it worked, what he's saying is everything heard about it. There's nothing new here. You still didn't believe me. And you know what? I bet after this story came out in The Guardian and The Telegraph and all the newspapers, that Russell Brand is buddying up with the Labour Party leader, Mr. Miliband, you still won't believe it. Because maybe you're not meant to believe it. Maybe maybe you're not good enough to be woken up. Do you ever think about that? That's that sense of smugness when you had calling other people sheep. That sense of smugness when you listen to Alex Jones going, incoming contrail bombers coming in, GMO drugs, a population that's asleep. Yes, get your gold, buy gold. Maybe you can eat it when money runs out. That was me coughing. That was the FEMA execution squads taking you to the FEMA camps. Yeah. You're woken up. You're not a sheep. Sheep no more. Sheep. You stood in Wembley, and when David Icke says, "Let's do a non-comply dance," you all complied by dancing. When if you were really awake, you wouldn't have left your seat, but you're not a sheep, so you had that smug feeling when you left Wembley or when you stopped listening to InfoWars that you were not a sheep, and you walked down the street feeling, I'm not a sheep, incoming chemtrail bombers, FEMA camps, NWO, BIGO, you were not a sheep, warning, New World Order attacking, you were not a sheep. And then you went out and you supported a no-talent comedian, a no-talent actor. It was clearly a bullshitter. And you destroyed the Awakened movement in one go. You killed it. You murdered it. You killed it. And that's why it went into a spiraling state of psychosis, why we have Muppets believing in the flat earth because there's nowhere else for them to go, so they might as well go completely crazy. That's why they got into neo-Nazism, because there's nothing else that's falling apart. You blew it. Russell Brand's brief was to scoop up everybody who was waking up in the UK, steer them back, spin them around on a wild goose chase for a little bit, give them hope, put that celebrity sparkle in their eyes. Woo, celebrity sparkle eye drops. Gives you the sparkle in your eyes. But you look like a mindless cult member. And you follow, and when I said, no, it's just trying to steer you back into Labour. It's just trying to steer you back. One way or other, you're going back into Labour. You go, Tommy Shane is jealous. Oh, he's jealous of our Ross. Jealous of our Ross because he's got a big knob. He's got a big knob and he's got a lot of women on the end of his knob. And that's why Thomas Sheridan is jealous. Also, he's got money. And as a socialist, I fully support Russell Brand over Thomas Sheridan because he's a millionaire. Because I believe that all the millionaires and the elites, they need to be taken down. And that's why I support multi-millionaire Russell Brand over Thomas Sheridan. And then, stirred you back in. Damage was done. His brief was to demolish. That's why he buddied up. That's why you had Alex Jones and David Icke kissing his backside at the same time I was saying, don't listen to this guy. It's all a big setup. Completely and utterly led you into a Fabian cul-de-sac. And like misty-eyed sheep, while you were calling everybody else sheep, you ran right into it. But that's okay. Admit you were wrong. Okay, so now that we have found out that you are wrong, now that we have found out that democracy doesn't work, all you people in Ireland who are thinking that if you vote for another party, you're going to abolish the water charge. Dream on, dreamer, find another dream. All you people in America who goes, I'm voting for Hillary Clinton because she has a clitoris and a vagina. Well, allegedly a clitoris. All you people out there, keep on doing it, just like when you vote for change. And in fact, I was watching the Trues with Russell Brand and Miliband, and they kept saying that magical word, change, change. Change is a word that means nothing. It's a word that has no definite meaning. Change could be murdering you all. We don't want, when you vote for a politician or when you follow Russell Brand like the servile moron 2.0 sheep that you are, going, We got to have change. Look, change. If you're having a problem in your life, say you don't have any money, right? And you got to borrow some money off your friend, or you're dying and you need a doctor. Do you go to the doctor and say, the doctor goes to you, "What's wrong with you?" And you go, "I need change." You go, no, I've got a pain in my chest. I can't breathe. I have a pain in my leg. There's when I go to the toilet, there's a flame shooting down my willy because I went to a prostitute last week. You don't go into the doctor and you say, I need change. You go in with specific symptoms so he can make specific changes to keep your ass alive. Politicians and Russell Brand offering change is not the same thing as offering solutions, specific solutions tailored to specific requirements, necessities, needs of the citizens. Change means dick. Nothing. Nada. Zero. It means nothing. So don't stop saying, we need change. Change happens naturally by itself. What you need is a specific solution. Politicians will never deliver it because that's not their job. The purpose of a government in a democracy, has two purposes. One, the self-perpetuation of the government institutions itself, which includes bureaucrats, the civil service, the public sector, and the mass media. Secondly, to grease the wheels of corporatism, to keep corporations ticking along nicely so you, the tax animals on the giant corporate farm, do not cause any problems for who really is your real masters, the CEOs of corporations. That's what. And when they say it's change for the citizens, meaning nothing but specific measures for big business. Do you ever notice that? Especially in America, all the politicians, when they're making speeches about the social issues, about the society, it's all, we will deliver hope. We will deliver change. If you vote for me, America, I will bring you change. 1,000 points of light. It takes a village. The audacity of hope. One more rub, and we'll be there. It's never, I will deliver specific policies. Here's how much we're at. No, it's never that. But when it comes to the corporations, oh my God, they have those things worked out to the penny. What they can do for the corporations. So it's specific measures to make life easy and business smoother and lesser taxes for the big corporations. But the rest of us get change, hope, audacity, 1,000 points of light, and spiritual socialism. Spiritual socialism. That's what we get. We don't need change. We need specific measures. We don't get specific measures off politicians. We get change. Change and hope. And Greek ideas and new labours deliver nothing to you. So get over that. Stop telling yourself, we need a change in the political system. We need a third party. All any third party or any third candidate is going to be is a temporary stopgap that will pick up people who've somehow been cognitively aware enough to figure out that it's a two-party system that means nothing, and to keep them in a holding pattern until he or she running that third-party option exposes itself as a load of crap that means nothing, or waits for them to die. It'll always be a two-party system because that's what democracy has always been. And those people who say we need more than a two-party system, it's like saying we need 3 ears on Mickey Mouse. It's always been a two-party system in every democracy, particularly in a republic. It's never going to change. So now that I've told you this, and you should have figured it out by yourself, what happens next? Well, that's the whole point. I can't tell you how to live your life. Only you can do that. So in Ireland, there's people saying, well, if we get the government to change the policy on Irish water or abolish Irish water, we'll be free of all those taxes and everything. Oh, no, you won't. What you need to start doing is to start collecting your own water. Simple. Start collecting your own water and stop wasting water. Take responsibility for your own life. Instead of waiting for governments to do things for you, do as much as you can for yourself by yourself. It's really that simple. When a politician comes to your door, don't answer it. Don't answer it. When he tries to be nice to you, just ignore him. Just walk past him. You don't need him. He's an irrelevant phenomenon. It doesn't matter what he says or does. None of those things will come to pass. Sometimes, occasionally, you might get a token gesture delivered, but it means nothing. All these people in America going on about Obamacare, let me tell you something about Obamacare. Doesn't exist. Doesn't exist. It's a talking point to keep bureaucrats and the media in business. Doesn't exist. Look after your own healthcare policy. Try and get insurance. Do something. Look after yourself. Lose weight. Exercise. Do what it takes. Don't be depending on the government. That's not to say there are good people who work in government agencies all over the world. There are. But they'll never be in positions of power, and they'll always be treated like dirt by the politicians. That will never change. As much as you can be independent, be independent. As much as you can. Because if you're going to vote for this party, that party, or the other party, I can guarantee you nothing will be done, and in 4 years' time you'll say, why do I waste my time dealing with these gobshites? They never deliver. You know what it's like? Voting, I said this a few times before, all voting in a democracy is an interactive circus or interactive performance, a stage play, a pantomime, if you will, where every 4 years we get to clap the loudest on who the best actor is, who played Cinderella best. That's all it is. And that Cinderella gets to get the star on the dressing room. But meanwhile, all of them on the stage are all involved as insiders, and you're still in the audience. That's what an election is. But going back, and after you discovered this out, and going back 4 years later and doing it the same thing again, you're like a person who's in an abusive relationship, a person who's being beaten by their spouse, who thinks, if we have a baby, he'll stop beating me. If I get another job and do as she says, she'll stop verbally abusing me. But it never changes, because all that individual in that abusive relationship understands is that you're learning to be more and more compliant with the abuse. And this story that everyone has a limit, I got news for you. Most people don't have a limit when it comes to being abused. There's lots of people who spent 30, 40 years in an abusive relationship, beaten all the time, and they stayed right to the end. And that's what happens if you maintain your participation and compliance in the democratic process. You are like an abused spouse, an abused partner. You're not running away. You're staying there saying, deep down inside, he's really a good person. And he doesn't mean to do this to me. Or deep down inside, she's really a nice woman. She doesn't really mean it when she calls me a useless maggot and demeans me and makes me feel inadequate and lies to me constantly. That's what that is. That's what democracy is. An abusive relationship, and we are the targets. And how do you get out of an abusive relationship? No contact ever again. There is nothing for you in the democratic system. There's nothing for me in the democratic system. And there's nothing for us. The last time I voted was the first Lisbon Treaty vote in Ireland, when the overwhelming majority of the Irish people voted against the EU's Lisbon Treaty. And the reaction to it by both the Irish government, the Irish mainstream media, the Irish political bureaucracy, and the EU was, well, we respect your frustrations, but lads, go back and vote again. And this time, for democracy, get the result that we want. And I haven't voted since. And there's no, I don't know how any other Irish person could vote since that. We were told to go back and to change our vote for greater democracy. But they weren't lying to us, because they were telling us exactly what democracy is. A scam that they'll only keep going as long as the citizens are compliant, gullible, and stupid enough to keep the elite in power. And if we stop doing that, there's two things would happen. Either one, we'd collapse into a state of anarchy, good thing. Two, they would unleash absolute and total brutal fascism upon us. But at least then we'd know what we were really dealing with. The clown with the smile, the clown mask with the smile on its face would be ripped off, and the shark predator monster with the vicious teeth below would finally be revealed. At least then, politicians, for the first time in history, would actually show their true colours of what they really are. The mask would be gone. That's what we're voting for now, except now they're wearing a mask. So I'm not going to tell you how to live your life. You people in England, you can go out and vote for your Green Party. We have the Green Party here in Ireland. Remember, the Green Party are pan-nationalist party, basically running the same policies everywhere. They were 8 years in government, and they were an absolute catastrophe, and they were they were worse in some ways than all the regular parties. So you vote for them, thinking it's going to be great. Oh, you vote for whatever planned third party, this year's Ron Paul they bring to you in America with the last minute. You vote for that. You go ahead. Say things like, well, our ancestors died. Well, I'll go back. Alex Jones. Our ancestors died. 1776 was the answer to 1984. Our ancestors, they fought for the democratic system of America. You got to get out and vote. You got to get out and vote. They sacrifice was not for nothing. By gold. Their sacrifice was for nothing. My ancestors fought in the Irish War of Independence for nothing. For nothing. Waste of time. Complete waste of time. Waste of life. Irish military lives, British military, complete waste of time. All for nothing. Bankers won in the end, like the bankers always do whenever democracy is involved. What's the answer? There is no answer. You can only take care of your own life. I haven't got the answers. I'm not intelligent enough. I'm not smart enough. I'm not clever enough. I just know, like in the Outlaw Josie Wales, when he said that line, don't piss down my back and tell me it's raining. Because that's what democracy is. It's pissing down your back and telling you it's raining. And they're all liars. Because they're supposed to be liars. Russell Brand is a liar. If you still think after his meeting with Miliband, even if he meets Cameron next week, it'll all be part of a stage thing. See, that's all part of the black magic to keep you involved in the political system. Don't turn your back. Don't stop voting. And he said don't vote, and now here he is courting politicians. It would be like someone who claims to be fighting paedophiles meeting with Jimmy Savile after in hell, and saying great job, Jimmy. That's what Russell Brand has done, meeting Miliband, Cameron, whatever he does. Showed his true colours. He's a fake, he's a phony, he's a fraud. Just like I said, if you believed it, fell for it, you're a fool, you're an idiot, especially if you think you're awake. But you learn from your mistakes, don't fall for it, don't let it happen again. Start looking after your own backside, your own ass, and taking care of yourself in your own world. And that's it. But if you want to vote, by all means do. enter into that, that magic ritual of going in there and pulling the lever like it's a Las Vegas slot machine, which they can rig real easily, or going behind the curtain just like an honest in Wonderland, and getting that pen or that marker, that black crayon, and ticking off you're in a proportional representation system, casting your vote 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes or no? You keep doing that. You enter because that's what the magician needs. The magician needs your compliance in order to enact change. This is Thomas Sheridan. It's Valpurgis night in a couple of minutes. This is the Velocity of Now, the most unusual, possibly the most obnoxious radio show on radio, with the man who has more FCC warnings than probably even Howard Stern at this point, and doesn't care because if Don't Leave in America, there's nothing you can do about it. Good night, take care of yourself, and feck them if they can't take a joke.